I'm going to give you my best advice to remove the overthinking and the procrastinating that is keeping you away from the things that you really, really want to do. I do this a lot myself. I can keep myself from making decisions and doing things, starting projects, reaching out to people that I really want to talk to and things that I really want to do. And I think that sometimes we really get in our heads about the steps that are involved to accomplishing a goal. So you could think I have to do X, Y, and Z to do this, but I need to buy 40 of this thing for X. It's going to take me 2 weeks to do that. Y is going to take me a month. Like, you get the idea. There's a lot that we can get in our heads about of what we need to accomplish before we get to our goal. And we can really, really overwhelm ourselves to the point where we don't even start. We can just make ourselves so debilitating and make that anxiety like just completely overcome us that we don't even take the first step. And my advice for that is it's really, really simple. It's just to remove the emotion from the task at hand. So all you have is the task. You're just thinking about it logically. Your emotions and your feelings are removed. Your anxiety, your worry is gone because you are just thinking about it logically of this is the first step I need to take, and I'm going to take that step. And as soon as you think of that step, take it. Even if it is later in that day, write it down to do at say like 4 p.m. You take that first step, and that first step that you accomplish is going to give you the strength, the motivation, the encouragement to go on to step 2. And you're going to keep, ticking things off your list. You're going to be breaking down those walls, and you're going to feel so good, and you're going to have so much momentum that your long-term goal is going to be accomplished before you even thought it would, because you're out of that mindset of just worry, just keeping yourself back from making the decisions, from taking those steps, because you've removed the feelings from it, you've removed the emotions, you've removed anything holding you back, basically holding yourself back from doing the things that you really want to do. So before I get more into it, I am Julia. My name is on my little mug here. This is Tea Time with Julia. And I like to come on here. I read my journal entries, sort of like my journaling and reflecting from the day before. And in a way that is basically like sharing my wisdom, sharing the things that I know, not so much like I ate this, I did that, I worked out for this amount of time. Not that kind of reflection, even though that is great. There's a place for that. But this is more so offering what I've learned, what I know, and the things that, again, work for me. So obviously won't work for everybody, but these are like common themes that I've seen, like with other people, talking to other people, understanding, how we sort of work psychologically, just as humans, and that we can also become our greatest enemy, our biggest ops. We can be that for ourselves. And sometimes it can really, really come from a state of fear. Again, like I've been talking about with procrastinating and overthinking in this video, that we can really get into a state of fear, not wanting to fail, thinking about all the steps that we have to accomplish, and coming at it as something that that could be like, I don't even know how to explain that without, going into down another rabbit hole, but it can pull us a little bit further away from our passion. And, when we lead with that being our passion, and that being our driving force, it doesn't matter we don't really focus so much on the outcome, because we know we really care about this thing and it is going to manifest itself in our lives however it's supposed to. Like, if you really love, let's say you really love making pottery, and you're doing that, you're on the wheel and you're making them however you see fit, and you have like your own style, and you are selling to stores, and that's what you want to do. It could take you a completely different direction that you weren't expecting, but you've stuck with your passion of pottery. So yeah, the end goal might be different than we envision, and it can manifest itself, again, like our dreams can manifest themselves in different ways than we've ever thought, that we initially thought, but our passion is still there. It's still our driving force. It's still the core of why we do what we do. So I'm going to go through my notes for today. I have about 3 pages of notes. So my past couple videos have been in the 20s of minutes, so I'm gonna see how this does today. I'm on the second page out of 4. So I've consistently held myself back from making decisions in the past, from taking the first step of a hobby or a passion I really feel called to. I remember in the last year, in the beginning of the fall, I had an idea for a partnership for my jewelry brand, and I kept thinking about it, kept worrying about it, and when I finally reached out 2 months later, they had asked me why I didn't reach out sooner. And that was just an eye-opening experience for me. Like, I think I talked about this in another video, several videos back, but that was something that was really eye-opening for me because I was just in my own way. I was in my own head. I was worrying constantly, like every single day. What if they don't want to work with me? What if my jewelry isn't the right type, the right style for them? Like, what if, it's not I was just thinking about every worst case option, the very worst case that I could envision for myself. And I wasn't thinking about like the positives at all. And I was just putting my emotion way too much into it. And when they got back to me, they said, yeah, why didn't you reach out sooner? And they were also closing their store for this season. So I didn't get to partner with them because I'd waited too long. And they also loved my work in the first place. So it was just a classic case of getting in your own way. And again, this was just in the fall. So this is something that I have recently tried to stop doing. That's why I said like earlier in the video that as soon as you get that step in your mind, take that step. Even if it's later in the day, even if you get the idea at 11 and you can't get to it until 4, try to do it that day of, because it's going to feel so rewarding and it's going to feel like such an accomplishment. Like as soon as you get an idea to do something, don't put it off. And this can also go for like calling your doctor or doing, whatever it is. As soon as you get that idea in your head, just do it. It's going to make you feel so much better. It's going to, have so much less pressure on you to do that thing and to make that call, to send that email, whatever it is. And if it's like a business project, business related, like mine was, in my example I just gave, they could be looking for you. They could be looking for your style, your work, your personality, a person like you to work with, but you are so busy worrying about if they're even gonna like you that you don't even put yourself out there. Like if you are proud of your work and you stand by that, just you let them decide whether it's not, like you shouldn't make that decision before you even reach out to them, because they could also, even if it's not a good fit, they could also recommend you or set you up with somebody else that they do know, which has happened to me before. Like I've been recommended to other people just because, it just wasn't a good fit with the person I initially reached out to, but they were still able to help me in the long run. So everything is always going to work out how it's supposed to. You just kind of got to let it happen. Like you have to get out of your own way and to stop procrastinating, stop overthinking, remove the feeling and the emotion from what you're doing and just get logical with it. Like sometimes I think of when I was at like past jobs that I was like, I loved being there and I cared about being there, but I didn't have the same connection to it as I do with my own work. Obviously, because I am making that work myself and there's an attachment that I have to it. That's something that that's a reflection of myself. So when I was at other businesses, other jobs, even like in college, that isn't a reflection of me. It's a reflection of whoever started the company, right? So when I was at those places, I would go into work, I would look at my tasks for the day and I would accomplish them. Like if it was like when I was working at Ben & Jerry's, for example, I would come in, I would open the store, I would make sure I would take off like the sheets, the fresh sheets for the ice cream, just so they were like, we put them on overnight, just so the ice cream stayed fresh. And I would take those off. I would, flick all the lights on. I would put the chairs out. I would just do everything that was on my list of tasks to do for opening. And I didn't think about them because there was no emotion involved. That was just, I knew what I had to do and I did it. But I feel like when the project is something super personal to us, we can hesitate because we are afraid of that failing factor, and we are afraid of not being a right match for the things that we reach out to, not, just there can be definitely just a fear of failing and not being good enough. But even if something isn't a right fit for you, like I said, when I had reached out to people and they passed me on to another person, even if that initial person isn't the right fit for you, and you get a no, that's just closer to you getting another yes. And it just sort of whittles down. It gets you really, really closer, and you figure out your niche more. When you're getting more no's, it pushes you more towards the yeses and the people that are right for you. So when you figure out the people who aren't right for you, it's easier to figure out who is right for you, and those partnerships that are going to work out, those opportunities, the places where you want to be. I've honestly learned a lot in my life by learning what not to do. So if it was a way that I didn't like to be treated, or if it was a feeling that I didn't like, I would go towards the opposite of that, which turned out what I wanted to have in my life anyway, and it was something that I did like. So sometimes when we get those no's, it just pushes us closer to getting those yeses. And that in order to get those no's, you do really have to remove that emotion from it, because you need to take that first step in to reach out, to break through that barrier that you have set for yourself. So like when I was starting reaching out to stores, when I was selling my jewelry a few years ago, when I first started, and walking into that first store and introducing myself and asking them if they could carry my pieces was so nerve-wracking. It was terrifying. Like, I think I put it off for like a couple months. But as soon as I did that, it just made it so much easier to go into the next one, and to go into the next door and the next door and the next door and send out the next email. And it became so much easier because I had already put myself out there the first time. Like, I think I've also said in another video before, there's only one first day of school, and after that is just, you're in school after that, and you're getting used to it. You've faced that initial fear of doing it for the first time, because it can be terrifying not knowing. Let's go back to the school example, not knowing where to go, not knowing where your classroom is, especially if it's a new school for you. Not knowing where your locker's going to be, not knowing where the teachers are, and all of that kind of stuff. But as soon as you figure that out for the first time, you already know it, and you don't need to keep figuring it out because you've done it the first time. You've gotten over that fear. So I think I've gone a little bit far from my notes, but that is totally okay. That is just what's meant to happen sometimes when I get on a little tangent. But I also don't want my camera to fall, so I'm kind of holding that. But let's see what else I had from my notes. Everything happens for a reason, so that was a lesson from me. Yep, this was just talking about this store. So when I took away that fear, the worry, and the nerves from, what I wanted to accomplish, I was left with the steps needed to reach that goal. And we can really just write those notes down, on a to-do list on your calendar, and accomplish them like you would at any job. Like I said, we can put so much emotion and feeling into the projects that we have for ourselves and the things that we personally want to accomplish, because we don't want to fail at them, and we don't want to, X, Y, and Z. You want them to do well, and you want your work and part of an extension of yourself to be well received, especially with like people you admire. And if you're reaching out to somebody that you really look up to and you want it to be a nice fit, of course you want that to go well, because that is what you're doing is part of you. But in the meantime, when you are just taking those steps each day, like say you want to send out 4 media kits, and you just do the research, you're looking at them on Instagram, you're figuring out all their information, and that's just something to do. That's just something that you have put on your to-do list to do, and they will respond how they're going to respond. If it is a nice fit for them, they will let you know, and they'll reach out to you, they'll respond to you. And if they also don't respond, then that is just a response as well. And I wouldn't take that too personally, because sometimes people do get overwhelmed, especially with emails, messages, things like that. People can get overwhelmed with all the messages that they get. So I wouldn't take that personally either. Just keep it going and keep it moving, again, without the emotion, without the fear attached to it, and just accomplish them task by task, as you would at any other job, as you would if you're just like a doctor and you got to do like 50 cc's of this, of whatever. You just get your work done. That's just as simple as it has to be. And I think that is the key to removing procrastination. Because I think at the core of procrastination, at least what I have found, is fear. And the reason why we don't do things is because we're afraid of the outcome, and we're afraid of how certain people might respond, or whatever it is. And same with overthinking. It's just a fear at the end of the day. And when we remove that fear, when we remove the emotion, then we can really get our tasks done. And when you're getting them done one by one, it feels so fulfilling. Like yesterday, I had like a few things on my list, and I got them all done, and I was just like so excited. I love days like that where things are just working out, and I just put my mind to it and I did it. And yeah, you will find the right people for you when you put yourself out there. The right people, the right supporters, the right fans, everything is going to fall into place. And yeah, so my tips are definitely remove the fear, the emotion from it. Remove your feelings from that decision making and be more logical with it, and to take each step when that idea comes to you, when you want to do that thing. So I think the more that stays on your to-do list to do, the more you're going to think about it, and the more you're going to push it off, and it's going to be a month, 2 months, 3 months that you haven't even done it. But you've still had that idea in your head, and you never know if it's like reaching out to somebody for like a partnership or affiliate, whatever it is. They could have been looking for you 2 months ago, and now that they're moving on to something else. So you never know that the people, how many people are looking for your work. And your passion deserves to be seen. It deserves to be recognized and appreciated. Like, what you offer is something that nobody else offers. And I mean that like wholeheartedly, because we are all different. We are all unique, and we see the world in completely unique and different ways, every single one of us. And, there are probably so many people on here who even I've like been exposed to so many like spiritualists and so many people like, giving advice, gurus and stuff like that on YouTube. But everybody's different. Like, I have a different voice, I have a different presence and a different energy than everybody else. And that is the same for all of us. Like, we are all different, and we all bring something very unique and special to our project, to our approach, our passion, whatever it is, whatever project or thing that you're working on. And you have that dream to, fulfill that passion, fulfill that goal for a reason. That was implanted into your head for a reason, and you keep coming back to that for a reason. If it's something that you keep putting off, but again, it's nagging at you in the back of your mind, maybe you should do it. Like, if it's starting a YouTube channel, it's starting a business, it's starting, like, if you want to make a sticker business, if you want to, like, again, like, if you're really into pottery and you want to sell your work, like, go do it. You have that idea for a reason, and your people, your future supporters, they need you to put that product, that idea out there, because there's someone who is really, really looking for what you offer. Again, if it's something that you truly care about, and then is just like always something that is in the back of your mind, I would say 100% do it. Don't think so hard about the steps, because the steps can change at any point. Just do that first one, and figure it out from there, because you can always change your mind. Like, I've changed my mind so many times in the past few months about goals that I have and things that I want to accomplish, things that just don't resonate anymore than they did. Anymore like they did in the fall. So yeah, just take it a step at a time, take it day by day, and keep your passion at the core and the foundation of what you want to do. As long as you have that passion and you can, remind yourself of that why that you have, why you do what you do, and that will be your driving force. So the fears shouldn't get in the way of that. Just remember, at the end of the day, all the people who are waiting to see what you want to, what you're driven to, what you want to put out there. Because there have also been like so many artists, like I have been looking for an artist like Ray for so long. She's a singer, and she's just like got this incredible voice. And I love her sound, and I've listened to her album probably at least like 3 times a week. And she has just been someone that I've always looked for, and she's just like, there she is. So everybody has got somebody that they're looking for to fulfill a certain spot. Like if you're a creative, somebody is looking for what you have. Somebody is looking for what you have to offer, and you have no idea how much success your dreams will bring you. So get out of your own way and get going. That is my advice for procrastinating and overthinking. And this is also, I think, a little bit something that I needed to hear too, because sometimes, like I said, yesterday was a good day. Some days I do get a little like, what is this all for? And I get a little existential, but I am brought back to why I do what I do. Excuse me. And that is to, even with this channel, just to be a little bit of help for people who need it, because I wasn't always in the situation where I had help from the people around me. Really had to figure all of this out by myself, through trial and error, through a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. So I would just like to make this easier for you guys, for whoever sees it. I hope it really, really does help in some way, and however you needed to hear it, because you are amazing and you deserve to get out of your own way and to do, how much potential you could reach and how many goals you could reach if you just sat down and did it logistically and just didn't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Think about the logistics of it. Yes. And what? If I'm making a pair of earrings, I just want to make sure I have the right wire, the right gemstone size, whatever. But don't worry so much about the emotion of it. So yeah, you deserve to have your work out there. You deserve to be seen, appreciated, recognized. You deserve all of your dreams to be reached. As long as those don't hurt anybody else. That's what my dad says. As long as that's not hurting anybody else, you do you. So I am going to leave it there. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If there's something you took away from this, comment down below, like it, subscribe if you want to see more of this type of content. But I'm going to finish my tea because I didn't really have much of it today. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.